What's up and welcome to Everyday Law. I'm your host Corlendos and this is the show that explains the legal side of the stuff you're already talking about, so you can sound even smarter when you're arguing with your friends. Now, despite how I opened up the show, this week's episode of Everyday Law covers a very somber story that is in no way any laughing matter whatsoever. Bobbi Kristina Brown's fight for her life. Now, Bobbi Kristina has been in a medically induced coma since January after being found unresponsive in a bathtub in her Georgia home. Now, late last week, Bobbi Kristina was moved from Emory University Hospital to a rehab facility in Atlanta, Georgia. And reportedly, Bobbi Kristina's condition isn't showing any signs of improvement. Now, this has raised the questions, should she be taken off of life support? Who can make the decision to do that? And what does the term pulling the plug mean? Well, when talking about this topic, I've heard people throw out the terms euthanasia or assisted suicide and terminating life support as if they're all the same. Well, only one of them applies here. Now, euthanasia, known also as mercy killing, essentially involves the physician or a non-physician providing a lethal overdose of a painkiller or some other drug that will put a patient into a painless eternal sleep. Assisted suicide, on the other hand, usually involves a doctor providing a terminally ill patient with the means of taking their own life and allows them to do so. Now, first of all, Georgia law prohibits both of these, and regardless, neither one of these applies to Bobbi Kristina's case. However, Georgia does allow the termination of artificial life support. Now, in order for a doctor to remove artificial life support and allow the natural process of dying to occur, the patient must have previously consented to removing life support. Now, this is typically done in a will or a healthcare directive, which is just a fancy term for a document that tells about the patient's wishes. Now, in this case, it's very unlikely that Bobbi Kristina has a will or a healthcare directive because, let's be honest, what 22-year-old does? So in the absence of the healthcare directive, the authority to terminate support would go to the patient's spouse. Well, that's an issue in this case because there's a guy who held himself out to be Bobbi Kristina's husband, but he has no records to prove that. And unfortunately for him, Georgia doesn't recognize common law marriages, at least ones entered into after 1997. And Bobbi Kristina was 4 or 5 years old in 1997. So, by operation of the law, the right to continue or discontinue the life support falls next to the parents of the patients, who in this case, the only one left is Bobbi Brown. Now, although it's been reported that several family members are furious at Bobbi for artificially keeping Bobbi Kristina alive, it really all comes back to what Bobbi told us way back in the late 80s. It's his prerogative. Now, to the Brown and Houston families, from us here at Everyday Law, we're wishing you the very best and keeping you and Bobbi Kristina in our prayers. Remember to share this video with your friends and subscribe to our channel for the legal lowdown on future headlines.